Hey everyone, and welcome to CSCI 110. My name's Corey Nance, and I'll be your instructor this semester. I wanted to create this video so that I could introduce myself as well as the course. So to get started, what we're looking at right now is Moodle. So Moodle is our learning management system here at the university, and we're really not going to be using Moodle too much this semester. Instead, what we're going to be using is MindTap. So what's going to be housed here in Moodle is really just weekly announcements, a Q&A forum, a login link to MindTap, and the course syllabus. So we're going to go ahead and look at those things, and then we'll jump over and take a look at what MindTap looks like. So as I said, we have announcements in here. I'll be sending out weekly announcements. You should be getting a welcome letter here shortly that's going to come out as an announcement, and then every week I'll send out an email letting you know, just a reminder of what to do that week. Underneath that, we have a Q&A forum, so you can ask questions here and anyone's free to answer, and of course I'll be monitoring and jumping in and providing answers as needed. Uh, this is a login to Cengage, which is the publisher that owns MindTap. So you can use this to get the MindTap if you'd like. Although down here below I also have a how to access MindTap that has our course code in it and will take you directly to it. Uh, but let's go ahead and get started by looking at the course syllabus. Okay, so this is CSCI 110. It's a distance learning course offered in the summer 2 semester here at CCU. Again, my name's Corey Nance, and here's my contact information. So any of these would be a good way to get a hold of me. You can call me on the phone. Feel free to leave a voicemail. Those voicemails get attached to an email and sent to me via email so I can get those even if I'm not on campus. My office is in AOC2, room 237. I will be around sporadically in the summer, but probably not at any regular times. So if you do want to meet with me, let me know. What I'm doing for office hours, as you can see here, is from 10 to 11 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday. I'll be available via Skype for Business. So Skype for Business, you can download that if you just Google Skype for Business, and you can log in with your CCU username and password. And you can also add me as a contact in there using my CCU email address, so canance@coastal.edu. Email is probably the best way to get a hold of me. Of course, if you call, it will get transcribed there, and I'll either call you back or email you. Um, the format of the course, we're going to be using MindTap for most everything. We'll see that the calendar's in there, the gradebook's in there, all of the assignments. So I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. We've talked about the limited usage of Moodle this semester. So this is a survey course for business or CS majors, and it focuses on business applications involving beginning and intermediate spreadsheets and presentation software. So for the most part, we're going to be focusing really hard on Excel 2016. We're also going to have a couple of assignments outside of that dealing with creating a presentation. We'll look at those when we get into MindTap. So the textbook for the course, it should be available in the bookstore. Of course, you can also buy it online if you'd like. Shop around, try to find a better price. You do need the MindTap access code though. So you'll probably have to get that directly from Cengage or the bookstore. You have an option of getting one that just has online access to the book, or you can get one that provides a physical copy of the book. So MindTap, if you've never used that before, is an online courseware that we'll be using here in the course, and you can access an ebook copy of the textbook. You can also do your assignments, labs, and quizzes in there. Okay, so I have a course link here. This is just a getting started link. Once you click this, you should be able to go ahead and register for the course, or if you go about it a different way and just go into Cengage and through MindTap, it'll prompt you for a course key. This is our course key right here. All right, so what else is required for this course? You're going to need a computer with internet access. That's so that you can access MindTap and watch videos or uh, whatever other content's being delivered. You do need access to Microsoft Office 2016 on the Windows operating system. So I know some people use Mac. Um, the instructions won't be the same for everything in the Mac version. I've heard that the online access for Excel is a little bit feature limited, so that won't work. Definitely won't work when we get to some of the later chapters. So you can come in to the school. We have a lab here in the AOC2 building, room 215, that has lab computers with Office installed. You can also go to the library and use the library machines if you don't have a Windows copy of Office. Now, if you have a laptop with Microsoft Windows, you can download a copy of Office through the university through Office 365. And if you need help with that, I'd recommend contacting Student Computing Services. All right. Um, what else? Let's see. You will need to be able to save your work, so you can do that in the cloud using Microsoft OneDrive. Again, that's part of our Office 365. And actually, it looks like you can use this link here to go and get more information about Office 365 and some of the things that are available to you through that. OneDrive's one way that you can save your work. Another way is just to use a traditional flash drive and take that with you to the library if you're going to have to work on a machine that's not yours. All right, so I won't read through all of this for you. You guys feel free to read through this about what all we're going to be covering. We work hand in hand with the Wall College of Business because this course is a service course for them. So we're going to definitely be covering these things as specified by the Wall College of Business. Let's fix that. There we go. So I guess the next big thing here would be grading. So we have a few different grading categories that typically do weighted grading. Although you'll notice that this time everything has the same weight percentage. So when we get into MindTap, you'll see that there are basically 5 different types of assignments. We'll have textbook projects, module trainings, module exams, SAM projects, and capstone projects. So we'll have a varying amount of these throughout the semester, and each one that you complete will fall into a category, which you'll also be able to keep track of in the MindTap gradebook. But as you can see here, each category is worth 1/5 or 20% of your grade. The grading scale is fairly standard for the university. It's a 10-point grading scale, so 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, and so on. If you're in the upper bounds or the upper range of those bounds, like 87 to 89 or 77 to 79, then I do award B pluses, C pluses, and D pluses. Attendance is very important here, although we will not be attending any classes in person because it's a distance learning course. We do have some rules for online courses or distance learning courses, and that's an attendance is operationally defined as a missed deadline submission. So if you miss an assignment or discussion post or really we're just going to be having those assignments, projects, and exams. If you miss one of those, then that counts as an absence. And any absences in excess of 25% of the regularly scheduled class meetings or assignments in our case can result in a grade of F. You will be responsible for all assignments and materials. Let's see, a lot of this is just pertaining to in-person classes, so we can ignore some of that. Deadlines are important. Late work will not be accepted. So please don't email me asking, can I get an extension on this assignment? I started late or I ran into these technical difficulties. My recommendation is to make sure that you start the assignments early so that you have enough time to either solve them or come in and get help so that you can solve them by the due date. Please make sure that you're checking your email regularly. I had mentioned that I'll be posting announcements in Moodle. Those announcements get sent to you via email as well, so you can get those there. So if anything comes up in the class, if I'm going to be out or need to make a change to the structure of the course, I'll be sure to notify everyone immediately via email through the announcement section. So academic integrity, violations of the student code of conduct will not be tolerated. So that's any form of cheating or plagiarism. You can go to this site here to get a copy of the student code of conduct. But basically, if I catch you cheating or working with someone on something that was not designated as a group assignment, which none of our assignments are group assignments, so you don't have to worry about that. Uh, I'll be giving you an FX in the course. So please don't cheat. It's not worth it. It's you know, just take a 0 if you didn't do the assignment or do your best on your own. Most importantly, though, let me know if you need help so that I can work with you so that you can understand the material. If you have a disability, please get that documented with our disability services. Um, Once you get that documented with them, they'll give me a form with any accommodations that I can make. Until then, I'm not allowed to make any accommodations. So, again, if that applies to you, please get in with the Office of Disability Services as soon as possible so that we can go ahead and get that stuff straightened out. Lastly, here we just have some student assistant links. One that's important might be student computing services. So if you're having problems accessing Moodle or using your CCU login, email issues, trying to download Excel, any of that kind of stuff, you can contact Student Computing Services and they should be able to get you straightened out there. Last page here just has a tentative schedule, just kind of showing what we're going to be covering throughout the semester. It's really high level. It's not listing every little assignment in here. You can see that here in week 1, we're just doing an intro to the course, which is basically what this video is. And then these guys, each line here is a module in MindTap. So we'll start off looking at some productivity apps for school and work. Um, Office 2016 and Windows 10 essential concepts like saving files and locating things in the operating system. And then we'll go ahead and start digging into the meat of the course here with Module 1 and Module 2. So I'm trying to keep it to 2 modules a week. We're going to go all the way up to Module 8. It works out really good because we have 4 weeks here in the course. So we're going to be covering 2 modules a week. There will be a few extra things sprinkled out. There's some capstone projects, 2 of those that'll take place on week 2 and week 4. These guys build on multiple modules. So I believe this first one is modules 1 through 3, and the second one is modules 4 through 6, if I'm not mistaken. So once we've completed those, that's when you'll be able to work on the capstone projects. And then we also have this PowerPoint project, which is really part 1 and 2. I call it Word project here, but it's PowerPoint project part 1. If none of this is making sense, we'll see it again here in MindTap, and I think it's a little bit clearer when we can see it all on the schedule. All right, so all of this is tentative, is subject to change. I don't plan on doing any changes, but sometimes crazy things happen and we need to adjust for those. So if anything happens, I'll be sure to send out an email message. All right, so jumping back over here, the last thing I want to point out is this how to access MindTap. This is basically the same link that was on the syllabus with a little bit more information. So what is MindTap, registration, you can click here. You may notice that our course code is right there, so this is a unique link just for us. You can follow the prompts. They will need payment, I guess, at this time. It's hard because I can't go through the same views that you guys see, but it's my understanding that you can either enter a registration code that you would acquire from the bookstore, or if you purchase this online, or you can purchase directly from this link using PayPal or a debit card. So you can go through there. There is a free trial available, so that lets you go ahead and get in immediately, which is great if you need a couple days in order to get that payment done or to visit the bookstore. You can still go ahead and get working immediately. Do note though that the access will end on 7/12, so you'll need to make sure that you do have access purchased by then. And if there's any sort of extraordinary circumstances, let me know and I can try to reach out to Cengage, my contact there, and they may be able to extend that by a couple days if needed. Also, lastly, make sure you go through the system check. You want to make sure that things like pop-ups are enabled and a couple other things. I ran into some issues with Chrome that may have just been unique to me, so I've been using Firefox to get to MindTap. But if you go through this browser check, it should check everything and let you know that you're good to go. Alright, so last thing I want to do here is I just want to jump into MindTap and make you familiar with it. So this is my first time using MindTap as well, and I will say that when you first come in here, it's a bit overwhelming. There is stuff everywhere. But once you learn where things are, it's not too bad. So over here on the right, we sort of have a dashboard of different applications that we can use. The two that I've found that are useful are Full Book right here. So Full Book, this is that copy of the ebook that we can get access to, or you will have access to. So you can go through here, you can read the chapters, go back and forth, etc. And then down here at the bottom is the progress. So this is where you'll get access to the grade book. And um, at this time, we don't really have many students in here, but you'll be able to see your grades. You can see the different categories here, same from the syllabus. Each one's weighted 20% with varying numbers of assignments located inside them. And then actually these two guys need to go right here in capstone. All right. So when you have something up, it sort of takes the focus of the screen. And if you come up here to the sort of top right of this dashboard, there's an X. We can just click that and close out of the progress. Now over here on the left is our course. So here's all of the different modules. And if we open up a module, we can see all of the different components of it. One thing I like about MindTap is it shows us exactly what's going to count towards your grade. So those are in orange here. They had the due date. Oops, I did not want to open that. They had the due date written right under them. One thing I like to do is actually switch to view. So up here, we're looking at sort of this list view that just shows all of our modules. If you flip over here to calendar view, we can see the 4 weeks of the course. And if you expand it, we can see all of the things that are due for that week. Now I know this looks like a ton of stuff. Some of these things are not very involved, like the trainings will have you go through and read about how to do something, watch how to do it, and then it'll have you do it yourself. And once you do that, then you get a check mark for that part and you can move on. Now it does progress. You do have some exams, you have some projects in here, so I highly recommend that you don't wait to the last minute to begin these assignments because some of them might be time intensive. One of the things that I like to mention with these half semester classes, and with this one being even more compressed than a half semester, we're looking at 4 weeks of class time here. Now, a traditional class is 16 weeks, and it would cover the same material. So we're essentially doing a 16-week course in a quarter of the time. So that's why I say in the welcome letter, you should expect to dedicate about 12 hours a week to working on this course. That kind of works out mathematically with the same number of hours as we would do in a 16-week course. In a 16-week course, we meet for 3 hours a week. We're looking at about 48 hours of instructional time. And if we do that over 4 weeks, then we're looking at about 12 hours. So really 12 is about the bare minimum I would expect to be putting into the course. So I show you this so that you can see how that you can get a look at exactly what's due for the different weeks. But I recommend that as you're looking at this in the calendar view that you jump back and we just kind of notice here that all of this stuff is due 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, July 15th. So I try to be predictable and not micromanage you too much. And by doing that, I'm having everything due Sunday right before midnight. Um, so it's up to you to pace yourself and make sure that you're working on some stuff on Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on, so that everything doesn't pile up for that last minute. All right, so let's jump back here. This is how I recommend going through the course is let's take maybe this first one for example here, Office 2016 and Windows 10 Essential Concepts and Skills. When you click in here, you'll notice that there are some things that don't count towards the grade. So these would be like readings and videos that I still recommend that you go through, but they're not counted towards the grade. So when we get to, let's say, a item here that's counted towards the grade, you would just click on that. Excuse me. It asks us if we want to go ahead and get started. We can get started here. And it's kind of neat. It actually gives you a little virtual machine here that you can work in the browser. Not all of the assignments have access to the virtual machine. The projects will actually have you download an Excel file and open that up on your computer, make edits to it, and then upload it back for grading. But the trainings and everything go through the simulator. And I believe I briefly mentioned that you'll be given a little introduction where you can read about what it is it wants you to do. You can observe it where you watch a video. Oops, the audio was a little bit loud. Um, but you can observe someone else going through and doing this, and then you practice and apply it. So when you apply it, it has you do it, and that's when you ultimately check off that task. So once you finish that, it'll just move on to the next task, and you'll go through all of the tasks in the training. So like I said, it's a lot of little micro sort of micro parts of the assignment. And when you finish, you may just want to verify over here in progress that your grade did get recorded. If you have any trouble with that, let me know. Like I said, it's my first time using MindTap 2, so we may have to work through a few kinks. And that's basically the gist of it. So you got your tentative schedule, you got your calendar in here so you can see what's due when, and my recommendation is just to come through and work through it. If you run into any trouble or problems or need help understanding something, please let me know. I'm happy to work with you. Um, Preferably in the Skype for Business, we can do a screen share and work from there. Although if need be, we can make an appointment to where you can come by and we can work together in person. All right, so with that said, I hope everybody that we have a great semester, and if you need anything, just let me know. Thank you.